Alright, so there is something I have decided to do. And it has to do with this, in a way. I mean this, which is literally the same thing, just on the outside. As well as having to do with this here. The full-scale version of it. And this. That's this. This right here is a Navistar-made map light assembly that is for Chrysler, Ford, Dodge, Jeep, Ram vehicles. This exact map light assembly here is found inside the Ford Freestyle, Ford Taurus X, Ford F-Series, Ford E-Series, Dodge Journey, Dodge Durango, Ram trucks and vans. Can I keep going, or have you heard enough? This is the Chrysler Ford Navistar map light assembly. This thing was common in a bunch of vehicles. It was first adapted in 1996 to the Ford Taurus. That's actually the first vehicle that used it. But the Taurus didn't really use it as much as larger vehicles like I listed, those SUVs, vans, and trucks. But it's really unique because it has a center bulb right here, which is what comes on when the door is opened to the vehicle, whatever that may be. And then these two switches here operate these two independent side bulbs that are activated manually by the driver and passenger. That's how this works. There's a simple harness in the back, and it's plugged in to a 12-volt power supply, DC. Now the third wire is not being used. The third wire powers that, and that third wire, the power for that would come from the CAN bus, because when the car's doors get opened and the CAN bus registers that, it would send a signal to this bulb to light it up. But these two are independently activated by switches and are directly attached to the battery. My dream car is a Dodge Journey, which would have this in its lower trims. And when I was younger, there was a Ford Freestyle that my dad had. And with these two lights being individually controlled and they're right on the battery, like that, it's on the circuit, if the car was turned off and you flip the switches, the light would turn on and it would be stuck on and the battery would die. I was always told as a kid to never mess with these unless I actually had to see something at night while driving, since they had these not only in the front seat but in the back seat areas as well. And they all had this, and I was told not to mess with that. Well, same reason I collect fire alarms. There's a weird obsession that I have with those same things that I'm told not to touch as a kid. So I went ahead and I got this off of eBay, and I wired it up. This is like a reading light for my bed, which is right here, has the sheets taken off of it right now, which is why I figured this would be the perfect opportunity to make this video, just showing what it does and how it works. Notice how the center segment here never lit up, even though there was a bulb in it there. It's a good bulb, but that's because there's no car CAN bus here. If I were to wire the third wire up, then it would just be on all the time, and I don't need that, because two things could happen. A, it could burn out, or B, it could be too bright for me to sleep with it on. But that's how this thing works. It's pretty bright, actually, too. It's not that bad. Modern cars now use LEDs to save this from happening. I was told, like I said, not to mess with these because it drained the car battery. LEDs take a lot longer to drain a car battery because they take a lot less power to use. So you could probably, if there was LEDs in here, leave this on for a few hours with the car shut off and be mostly fine. But with this, it only takes like an hour and car battery can drain. This thing can drain a standard 9-volt battery in 10 minutes just being left on. So that's why I put it up here, and it is screwed in to this. So it's now a permanent part of this bed fixture, and I like it a lot because I got that. I got this, which, test it real quick, still works. And of course, our bell, which is secretly a light as well. So I got a light there too. all lights I don't use is this one, because this one uses a 22-watt circline fluorescent bulb, which are pretty hard to come by today. And if this one burns out, then it's kind of hard to find a replacement bulb for it. Like I said, 22 watts circline fluorescent 6-inch, I believe it is. I believe it's a 6-inch round tube. It might be an 8. I think it's a 6 though. Anyways, I'm not going to fret over it, and I'm not going to take this apart right now. 3 screws here to do so, but I'm not going to do that. And then, of course, I still have this Gentex GX93. That didn't change, and it probably won't change in the next year, because it was kind of hard getting this thing installed, because I had to strip a harness, then cap off 1 wire, and then run 2 wires into it to make it work, and then have a relay off the sub panel, and then it was just, thankfully that relay came with the house. It was already there, so that's a strobe relay that puts 12 volts DC into this interconnect line. So if you wanted to add a strobe, not like this strobe here, but a modern strobe, like a system sensor P2RL strobe, then you can do so. That's what it's for, and that's what the relay was in the house, because this is an ADA house. It was designed with ADA standards in mind.